There are a few, or the set one, that God has specifically called you to, and that you know and you know and you know that your talent is within. Stop comparing yourself to anyone. Your greatness is in your uniqueness. Hi, Team Rosalie Christians. I missed you all so much. I'm so glad to be here with you today and to catch up. Yes, we are getting into the later autumn, nearly winter season. I hope you're all keeping warm. I hope you're all doing good and are blessed and highly favored, as I know you are. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that I think will be a blessing to you all. And so sit back and relax and let's have a chat. Okay, today I'm going to be giving you 5 ways on how to live a happier life. And sis, listen, I understand, in this particular, especially in the season, I feel like whenever it gets to like autumn and winter season, people's moods also tend to go down a little bit, especially if you don't have some of these points in place that I'm going to be sharing with you. And I believe these are practical steps that you can implement too. Okay, tip number 1, rest in Him. Sis, rest in Him. If there's any better advice, like I can't think of any better advice I can give you than rest in Him. God gives us a rest and a contentment in Him that once you know who you are in Him, understanding that your life is a journey and not a race, and that He orchestrates and ordains and destines your steps, you will not worry. You will live such a happier life, trust me. Because one of the things that the enemy wants to do or likes to keep doing is to disrupt our peace. Jesus is the Prince of Peace. He's the Prince of Peace for a purpose. He is the Prince of Peace because He exudes peace. He is peace. He is the Prince of Peace. And so it says, even when the enemy comes like a flood, He shall raise a standard. Meaning that even when there's storms around you, He will raise a standard that you will not even feel it. And so in your everyday life, rest in Him. Understand that He loves you more than you could ever imagine. Rest in Him when looking for a job. Rest in Him when the bad news came in your house. Rest in Him. And resting in Him is also a key. One thing that happens when our peace is disrupted is that we tend to act irrationally. You tend to do things that you were not meant to do or weren't going to do. So perhaps, you no longer have peace in your job role, and so now you look for another job. But maybe that time had not come. Maybe God wanted you to stay in that particular role a bit longer because there was something that you were supposed to learn there, or something that was on its way coming to you. And the enemy does this for us to act irrationally, and we act in our soul realm, as in we react and act based on our emotion. And when we let our emotion or the solical realm overcome us and even sound louder than our spiritual ears or spiritual senses, then the enemy can make you not even hear the voice of God as strongly. You may, because you're so caught up with what you're doing, you may just, be like, deuces, I'm not hearing you right now, Lord, and that's a very dangerous place to be in. But you find that once you rest in Him and you realize that He is orchestrating your steps, and though the situation may not feel perfect right now, and you understand that as you seek Him, all other things shall be added unto you, and that all things are working together for your good, you receive that peace, and you do eventually find out that I am walking in His will, and all things are working together for my good. Secondly, you need to stop comparing yourself. Stop comparing yourself to anyone. Your greatness is in your uniqueness. The minute you try to imitate another person, you lose that thing that's unique about you. And not just do you lose it or you hide it, but you don't receive glory for it. Nobody gives glory to the copycat. People give glory to the original. And then also, the copycat is never as good as the original because the original is the original. Identify the uniqueness within you. Identify that which is unique to you. And you can't tell me, Ruth, no, there's nothing unique about me. Because as your thumb is unique out of all the 7 billion humans on this earth, that which God has placed within you is unique. Identify it, build it, prune it, and don't compare yourself to anyone else and focus on that which God has placed within you. And your number one aim is, by the time I leave this earth, I would have achieved everything God has called me to do, and I would have done the best at what God has called me to do. So if that is cleaning the bathroom, if God has said your purpose is cleaning the bathroom, you make sure you clean it to the best. If God has said it is to speak to the nations, you make sure you build that skill to the best. Whatever it is, there is more glory in achieving the best at what you've been called to do than trying to be a copycat of something you've not been called to do and fail miserably at it. And also at the same time, not let your glory shine. Because trust me, if that same speaker now said, I want to copy that cleaner, and that's not where they were called to, they may do a rubbish job and they will never get recognition for it. But had they just stayed in that field that God has called them in, they would have seen that glory. How many of us are copying and striving to copy a life that is not ours, that was never meant to be ours? And the challenge here is learn to be content with what you've been called to do. It's wanting to be, one of the things of this generation is wanting to be a jack of all trades. Yes, you can have so many talents. Trust me, I'm one of them. I have so many ideas, so many skills. I love acting, I love singing, I love writing, I do law, I do business. Come on. Millions of it, right? Hundreds of it. But again, there are a few or the set one that God has specifically called you to, and that you know and you know and you know that your talent is within. I have all these skills, right? But I do know that God has called me into ministry. I know that when I speak to people, I speak life into them. So I know this is the path for me. Yes, I have so many other aspirations, so many other skills, but this is what I'm called to do. Now, could I now pursue acting? Yeah, I can. But will I receive the same glory? Will God be as pleased if I did that? That doesn't mean you cannot have hobbies and do other things on the side, because definitely I'm still going to be doing acting on the side when I get the time. But nurture and cultivate that which God has called you to do. And once you do that, you will never compare yourself to anyone, because you will recognize that your greatness lies within your uniqueness. And that brings me to my third point, which is to live life intentionally. If you don't compare yourself to anyone and you live life intentionally, as in like what you do has purpose, behind everything you do, let it have purpose. That's one of the key human needs, is to have purpose and meaning behind the things that we do. And research has shown that when there's lack of purpose, lack of value behind something we do, it makes us unhappy, because begs us the question as to why we're doing it. And the most of the time that you may see this is at your workplace, especially if it's a work or a job that you are just doing passing by, right? And you end up in this job role and you're like, well, why am I doing this? Why am I here? And so you're not happy in your job role, because yes, it's paying the bills, but there's no purpose behind it. Is the purpose is just to get money, and that's not enough of a motivating factor. But then I always challenge my coachees and my mentees to find the intention behind that. Okay, I'm in uni and I'm doing a part-time job and I'm just doing it to get some money. But you need to have a bigger sense of purpose for it, i.e., what else can I learn from this? Okay, I'm learning how to deal with clients, I'm learning how to deal with customers, I'm learning how to deal with stressful situations. What other skills can I learn within this vicinity whilst I'm here? Never let just time pass by for just feeling that there's no purpose. You can always find a purpose or a lesson behind every activity. Anything from if it's cleaning the house, you can find a purpose and a lesson behind the activity. If it's whatever, there are lessons in everything. Life is a lesson, literally. And everything that you do, find a lesson within it. Because the only time that it becomes a waste of time is when you don't give it a purpose. And God has given us dominion and authority to command things, to establish things. So if you say, all right, from today, you're not just going to be my workplace, but you're going to be a place where I will learn how to deal with people, or I will learn these set of skills, it will happen. And you will make a way that it will happen. And as you have set it, so shall it be. And that's why I want us to always remember the identity that we have, who we are, the creation power that we have. Fourthly, build and engage with your tribe. We are humans, and so we naturally are a species that has to associate. God said, man shall not live alone. Okay, so he made the woman because human needs companionship. So build a tribe and engage it. It's okay to have a tribe, but then the thing is engaging it. And I feel like, again, in this world that we're in at the moment, literally, it's so hard, it seems sometimes, and such a chore to engage your tribe because there's a lot going on, right? We have a lot going on in our lives, and literally the 24 hours go by so quick, and then the day and the week and the month and the year just fly by. And so we have to be intentional with engaging with our tribe, like-minded people, and then also, you know, people that we know that will speak life into us and that will uplift us. So being silo, can constitute to being and having an unhappy life, and then finally then having a tribe and also engaging with a tribe is a blessing. So one thing is your church. Get active in your church. If you're just a member, join a group, join the ushering team, join whatever team, join something, engage, and then at least in church, okay, we all have the same faith. I know we might say the same faith, but some people don't have the same characteristics. But that's just life, That's life. That's why I always say church, yeah, church is church. Church is church. It's made of humans, and we all have the common faith, but we all still have our flaws. But then it's still within that, you can still find your people. It's the same way in a workplace. Your common theme is being at your workplace, but you can still find your people, and you're just gonna have to be open about it and be intentional. Lastly, take care of your mental. I don't like to say that because it's a Christian channel, so I should just say keep praying, but we also practical, okay? Take care of your mental. Make sure that you give yourself a break, you give yourself rest. You are kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself, especially if you're someone who gives and gives and gives and gives. If you've watched this far and you've enjoyed this video, please do like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. I post every single week. I am your sister in Christ, and I'd love for you to join the family. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.